Welcome back. Now, this week, the federal government reacted to the alleged seizure of 3 of its presidential aircraft in Paris by a Chinese firm. The seizure came after the Chinese firm, Zhongshan Fucheng Industrial Investment Company Limited, secured a court order by the Judicial Court of Paris to confiscate 3 aircraft from the presidential fleet. Zhongshan had approached the court seeking an enforcement of the arbitration proceeding from a London panel of a $17 million damage award to the company by the Nigerian government over a trade dispute. Responding to the seizures, the federal government described the action as fraudulent and an attempt to sabotage the country of its assets. Federal government also stated that the presidential fleet is a sovereign asset protected by the diplomatic immunity. And now to discuss this, right here I've got Justice Ojeno is a lawyer and, of course, very prominent on the show as always. Good to have you on the show.
It's my pleasure.
Fantastic. I also have Akin Fatunke, is a policy analyst and communications consultant. Good to have you on the show, Akin.
Always a pleasure to be here, Mike. Good evening, Nigerians.
Fantastic. I'll begin with you, Akin. Now, news of Chinese firm seizing 3 presidential jets of the Federal Republic of Nigeria after obtaining authorization from a Paris court. How do you react to the whole debacle?
I'm embarrassed, and I should be. Prima facie, I thought our dealings should be watertight. Okay, now, no perfection everywhere. My background is in a private sector where we dot all I's, cross all the T's. And I can tell you, perhaps the president of this country can also attest to that because we are of the same culture. No single CEO makes final decisions. We have gone through the maze, go to and fro, and until the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, they dare not make commitments. So you have what in technology you call grandfather, father, son situation, such that even if worst case scenario, a case like this was going to happen, arbitration, making sure communication is right, taking proactive measures becomes the order of the day. Why I say I'm embarrassed, Mike? Painful. Because where I come from also has dealings, not just with Nigerians. We respect Nigerians. We are Nigerians, and we are operating here as Nigerians, but with global standards. Yeah. We deal with the Chinese, we deal with the Americans, with all manner of men and women who naturally, you say we are fantastically corrupt, also fantastically corrupt out there. And so we find a way to deal at arm's length. P&ID is still sleeping, still not buried. And then this. How many more do we have? The latest I have with my interaction, working in ExxonMobil. By the way, ExxonMobil is a situation where I think if care is not taken, we don't know how many legs are still buried on the ground. And they will continually just come at us to try and
try to squeeze us out.
Try to squeeze us out. I know the French. I know we have issues with the French. We are not friendly with the French. But I know the policy of the colonial, AFDB, ACTFA and all that. Everybody is looking at Nigeria. And it's now time we tighten and make sure that we do the right thing. I won't be surprised. I hope, I pray. It may sound a jokula that our president or some other person, Mike, you or me, Aki, or Justice, will be in France or will be in China, and then the next thing that we are going to be detained there as, collateral damage for things we did not do right. Why should it be? I'm embarrassed because I think we Nigerians, I know that we are some of the best in all fields. Because of corruption and because under the deal table. See, government should be a continuum. See what we are getting from Ogun State. For me, please, we come back and deal with that. For now, I think our best foot should be put forward and that never again.
Should such repeat itself?
Should a situation where our president will not be able to take his A33 bus because it's been seized. Oh, if the president was in France, they might have just detained our president in France.
Wow.
Very embarrassing.
All right. Justice, you heard everything Akin Fatoke said. Now, a disturbing dimension actually with the legal battle revealed that former governor of Ogun State actually confessed that he was deceived into handing over a free trade facility in Ogun State to dubious Chinese investors. That's how he put it. Now, in as much as I understand that he's coming under heavy fire online, everybody's blaming him. Former governor, why would you do this? Why can't we look at the legal aspect too? He had a legal team. What happened with the legal team? How did they also miss out the detail contained in this contract that slipped right under their nose? For me,
I'm really pained that could be an excuse. And I say I'm really pained because aside from the fact that he has a legal team, standing legal team, standing attorney general, whose job constitutionally is to protect the interests of the people of Ogun State, they also have illustrious sons. Ogun State is not deficient of illustrious legal luminaries. Of course, the former vice president, senior advocate of Nigeria and professor is also from that neck of the wood. So it's embarrassing and a shame for a governor at the time to open his mouth to actually say that he was deceived. So for me, it's painful. It's not something that ought to have come out of his mouth. Maybe he needed a better PR consultant to help him put a better spin on it, but not exactly in that manner.
So are we now going to start doubting legal personnel representing government officials when it comes to signing up deals with some of these foreigners? Because we expected that his legal team should have done a fantastic job.
It's unfortunate, and I may just say a reluctant yes to that, because we saw what happened in P&ID. Sometimes it is fifth columnists within the ranks, saboteurs within the ranks. We saw that one of the directors at the ministry, I think Ministry of Foreign Affairs, with the PID case, collected $500,000, Mrs. Tega or something, of course, that is of blessed memory now, and sold out Nigeria. So I will not be entirely shocked that is the situation, but I want to tilt. For me, I think it's better for me to tilt on the side of, okay, maybe it was a honest mistake. Okay. Or they didn't read something very well.
All right, Fatoke, before we go from this topic, in a few minutes before we wrap this up, now it was said that the former governor, Olugbenga Daniel, conceived this idea first. Now, when Amosun came into power, after just 1 year, another Chinese company approached him. Now, was it not necessary for Amosun to have consulted with Olugbenga Daniel to understand the terms of the dealings before he decided to drive through with it? Now, does this bring to light, the complaints about governors not having synergy when they come into power with their predecessors? Does this also expose why there should be a continuum in government?
Poignantly, yes. Management of change. Government is a continuum. All this poncho that I get in there, and whatever it is that my predecessor has done, wax and oil, throw them under the carpet, cannot help us, should not help us. And so tells us that weakness of strong institutions based on concrete principle of law is failing here. Okay. And if that is so, that means democracy cannot be working. We have government of strong men. I am talking now, and justice is looking at me. I have the power of the mic. He allows me to finish, and then he takes the mic and decides to rubbish everything I have said. He may have a good, but then, it may just be one or two things that he may not consider. I don't know, look, that makes a little bit of sense. That we have regime change. And regime change in a democracy is normal. Don't forget, we had the issue of Bakassi. At a time, under our own noses here, incompetence and the fact that we decide to look the other side, and we're going to lose Bakassi. And that was going to cost us a lot. Management of change principle says Yes, change of government. Let's look at some of the things that we have done. And as we move, we audit along, we check and make sure things are, and then we are courageous enough, and that is leadership.
All right.
That, oh, I have made a mistake.
To take responsibility.
Take responsibility.
All right, let's go on a quick break, and when we return, Newsweek continues in a moment. Stay with us.